Okay, I will pause here. So Wayne, tell me, I was so struck by your story of going to school in Cumberland and then going to Victoria to get your education, and then having to leave Victoria to go to grade 12 in Manitoba. Uh, what was that like for you in Victoria, like with your brother going to school away from your family?
Dad?
Do you know what she's saying?
Yeah, she's asking you, what was it like to live in Victoria going to school? That's what she wants to hear. You talk to her. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. What's it like?
Gayleen, you can stand behind. You can
Huh?
you can stand behind the computer if he's
Okay.
more comfortable. No, if you stand behind the computer, so he's facing you,
Okay.
but he's talking to me.
All right. So, Dad, tell Linda what it was like living in Victoria going to school. Talk to Linda.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Tell her
Victoria's
about
a
it.
good place.
Well, tell her
Yeah.
about going to school.
I really enjoy it here. I live in Chinatown.
Okay. Tell her about when you were going to school and living with Uncle Bill.
Huh?
Tell her about what it was like going to school in Victoria when you were living with Uncle Bill. Tell her where you lived. Tell her where you went to school. Tell her what it was like, because you were very young when you went to school. Can you tell Linda what it was like? Tell her where you lived.
Yeah.
Tell her where you lived. Where did you live?
I tend to forget now where I live. But I think I live in next to Yilun.
Okay, so yes, that's right, you did.
Yeah.
And you lived with, who did you live with? Your brother?
Huh?
You lived with Uncle Bill.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you did your own cooking. That's right. And she did, Uncle Bill did all the cooking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And how old were you when you were going to school?
Well, I was just in my teens, that's all.
And what school did you go to?
Yeah.
Tell her what school you went to. Tell her what school. What was the name of the school you went to in Victoria?
What school?
Yeah. Was it either North Ward or Victoria?
Yeah, I went to North Ward.
North Ward.
Yeah, that's right. I went to North Ward School.
And was there lots of Chinese people there? She wants to know about what it was like going to school in Victoria way, way back.
It was okay. No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
No.
How many Chinese were in
Yeah.
your class at North Ward?
Well, there were pictures taken.
But not many Chinese?
Huh? No, quite a few Chinese.
Oh,
Actually, Chinatown was quite large. There's quite a few Chinese living
oh,
in Victoria.
oh.
Okay.
You said that your brother Bill cooked for you?
What?
Did
Your brother Bill cooked for you? What did he make?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did all the cooking. We bought these groceries from Yilun, and mainly because we our business in Cumberland, we bought most of the stuff from Yilun, and such that we just charge everything to it, and they send the bill to Cumberland.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
no. What was your favorite food?
We didn't have any money.
No. What did you eat? What was your favorite Chinese food?
What did you say?
What was your favorite Chinese food? What did you like to eat?
Whatever my brother could do the cooking. We'll just buy whatever is available at Yilun. That's it.
Okay.
Well, Yilun, did they have meat there? I thought they didn't. Did they have meat?
No, I think they mainly have vegetables there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Right. And then you had to leave Victoria to go to high school in Manitoba for grade 12. What was that like, having to move out there? Like, how did you get there? Did you drive? Did you take the train? Like, how did you how did you get to your sisters?
Yeah, tell her why you had to leave Victoria to go
Oh,
to
very nice.
Dauphin. Tell Linda.
Oh,
Remember you told me the story of why you had to leave to go to Dauphin. Do you remember that? Remember you said they said that your parents weren't paying taxes. Isn't that what you told me? You said that they said that your parents were not paying taxes, so you had to leave. And then you called your sister Mamie,
that's right. Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
what happened? What did Mamie say to you?
Mamie said, "Just come to Dauphin, and we have to pay it." Yeah, they said because I was living in Victoria and we weren't paying any taxes,
Yeah.
and so so I can't continue to go to school in Victoria, and that's why I phoned my sister Mamie,
Yeah.
and Mamie said, come to Dauphin,
Mhm.
and you have to pay any special taxes for you. For you, we'll do it for you.
Right. So then you went to Dauphin. How did you get to Dauphin? Did you get on a plane? Did you drive a car? How did you get there?
I got on a train.
And who paid for that?
Huh?
Who paid? Who paid for the train? Did you have money?
Well, Hazel was there, and Hazel was in Victoria at the time. My sister Hazel,
Oh,
I got money from Hazel, and they also baked all the
arrangements.
food for me to eat on the
Oh.
street, on the train, because they said it's very expensive to
Eat on the train.
eat on the train.
Oh.
So I brought a lot of food along.
And how old were you when you went?
Huh?
How old were you when you left Victoria? How old? Were you 16 or something?
About that, yeah, about that age, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Aileen, please ask him how long it took to get
So
from
how
Victoria.
How long did it take to get to Dauphin from Victoria? Like,
Yeah,
do you remember? Was it a week, or was it 10 days, or
No,
2
just
weeks?
no, just a couple of days, that's all.
A couple days
Yeah,
to
that's
get
right.
to Dauphin.
Yeah, to Dauphin, that's right.
Well, you
And
would've
then,
got-
Wayne, did you have to sit up the whole time in a chair?
What's that?
Did you have to sit up in a chair, or did you have a bed?
No,
No bed.
you don't get a bed, you just sat in a chair. That's right, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you would have gone to Winnipeg, I would think,
Huh?
first, right? You would have stopped in Winnipeg, right? 'Cause is there a train station in Dauphin? Is there a train station?
Let's see.
You might have gone to Winnipeg, would you?
Yeah, I guess so.
You don't remember, and take a bus?
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I'm not sure about that
Yeah,
part.
that's right.
So you just sat in a chair and ate your food
Yeah, that's right.
by yourself.
My sister,
Your sister, yeah.
uh, Hazel,
Hazel's the older sister,
Yeah.
yeah.
she gave me a lot of make a lot of sandwiches for me.
Oh, I didn't know Aunt Hazel lived in Victoria. I thought she
Yeah.
lived in Vancouver.
Yeah, that was Vancouver.
Oh, because a train left from Vancouver.
Yeah, there's no train from Victoria.
Right, so how
Yeah,
did you get to Vancouver?
the ferry?
A ferry,
Yeah, that's
right,
right.
it took, not the BC ferries, it was a different, not BC ferries, right? Was that the one that you have to go overnight on the boat to get to Vancouver?
Yeah,
You told me that takes overnight to get to Vancouver. Don't remember.
I
That's
just
okay.
don't remember.
That's
yeah.
all right, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, you're now in Dauphin.
Yeah.
So you're in Dauphin, and what was it like for you in high school, your last year? Because did you make new friends? What was it hard?
In Dauphin, when you went to Dauphin, what did you do? Like, how did you meet any new friends? Because you would have been in high school, right?
Yeah, I was able just go to school there.
And
There
who
was
did,
no problem.
and who did you live with?
Huh?
Who did you live with?
With my sister,
Okay.
Mamie.
Mamie, you lived with Mamie, and then you went to the high school there. Do you remember the name of the high school?
Dauphin High.
Dauphin High.
Is
Yeah.
that different from Dauphin Collegiate?
A
It's the
Dauphin
same one.
Collegiate.
Oh,
Dauphin Collegiate.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you meet any good friends at Dauphin? Did you meet any good friends?
Oh, yeah.
You did.
Yeah, that's right.
Who did you meet in Dauphin in high school?
I forget now.
Okay.
I was a kid at that time.
But you did meet new friends.
Yeah,
You did meet some new friends.
yeah, that's right.
And
Chinese
Wayne,
or-
did you play any sports? Did you play soccer? Did you play tennis? Did you play any sports when you were going to school your last year?
She's asking, did you play any sports? Like,
What?
did you play any sports when you were in high school, like baseball or soccer? What did you do when you were in high school besides study?
I just work in a restaurant there.
Okay,
They have a restaurant.
Grange Cafe,
Huh?
the Grange Cafe.
Yeah, that's Green Cafe.
So you worked at, okay, so you worked there being a waiter? Or
Huh?
being a waiter in the cafe?
Actually, I was at the fountain where,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
so you did like,
Wait, please, Gillian, let me please. What did you do at the fountain? What's at the fountain?
what's at the fountain? Tell Linda.
Well, we have ice cream there, and then the whole series of places, different kind of syrup, and you make different kind of drinks for the customers.
Like milkshakes or sodas?
Huh?
Milkshakes?
Well, we have a milkshake machine too, but basically we have the soda.
Sodas.
Yeah, soda. That's
Oh,
right. Yeah.
sodas, different.
So what was the favorite drink? What did everyone always ask for?
What?
What was the most popular drink there that people would ask for? Do you remember?
What the customer drink?
Yeah, what was the
What
most popular one?
they drink coffee. Basically all of fun, you know. We're the only Chinese family there. I said,
So everybody comes in for coffee.
huh?
People
Yeah,
go to the Grange Cafe for coffee.
yeah, Green Cafe.
And so you graduated grade 12, and then did you know that you wanted to go to university right away? Like, what happened between high school and university?
I don't understand what you said.
So you finished high school in Dauphin, remember? You told me
Yeah.
that. And then how did you decide to go to university? Why did you decide to go to university? Tell her, as soon as you finished high school, what happened? And how did you make a decision of what to do with your life?
Well, my sister suggested that. My sister, Mamie,
Suggested what?
that I go on to university.
What about her husband? Did he have any Guy? What about
Huh?
Guy? Did Guy have any influence with you? Mamie's husband, Guy?
Yeah,
Did he say yes, go to university too? No, you don't know, but it was Mamie.
oh, that's Mamie. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And why electrical engineering?
Huh?
Why did you choose electrical engineering?
Why did you go into electrical engineering?
Oh,
That's a story you should tell her because you told me already what happened. You went to university
yeah.
and tell her what happened. You left often.
My Mamie, one brother was taking engineering.
Right?
Actually, I wanted to go into medicine,
Yes.
but I couldn't get in there. When they asked me, any of your family are in medicine, I said no.
Right?
And then, well, what's your other alternative? I said, I can take engineering, and that was it.
Cause
There were vacancy there.
oh,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right. So
but that was it.
that was it. There was vacancies and you just decided to go into engineering.
Yeah, but medicine, they said you have to have family in the medical field.
Oh,
We
really?
didn't have any family in the medical field.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What? Well, that's not true.
What?
That's not true. You don't have to have a doctor in the family to study medicine.
Well,
What she
Oh,
said?
I can't believe what they told you.
she said that's not true, but that's what they told you, right? You said they told you that, but you told me, Dad, that you didn't have the marks.
What?
You told me you didn't, it was such a transition to go to university, that it was hard to get good marks for you, right? Your marks, were they high?
I don't
You
know.
don't know. Okay.
Also, Wayne, I'm wondering, when you graduated with your degree, you were about 26?
Yeah.
And did you have to work all the way through and take time off between entering university and finishing? Because it's a little bit longer than 4 years between, if I'm doing the math correctly.
So she's asking you, how come it took you so long to get through university? Why did it take longer than 4 years for you to graduate?
Also, Gayleen, I can hear someone washing something in the background.
Sorry?
I can hear someone washing something in the background, which is picking up on the recording.
No, there's nobody else in here.
Okay.
No, there's nothing.
Okay. All right. It's just, there's an odd background noise. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So Dad, did you have to work when you were at university? Like, how did you pay your
I
tuition?
work in a restaurant there. My sister's restaurant.
No, but in Dauphin.
Thank you,
But-
Faye.
Yeah, but you were in Winnipeg, right? You were at University of Manitoba,
Oh,
right?
well,
So what did you do, during
when
the
I was
school
going
year?
to,
During the school year, did you
I was
work?
staying resident.
Residence,
Yeah,
okay, and it took you longer than 5 years to get through engineering,
I
right?
guess so. I
Right.
forget.
Oh, okay. So we don't know.
I don't know.
Because you were 26 when you
Yeah,
graduated.
26.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1950, you're 26. And most people graduate when they're 22 or 3.
Oh,
But he didn't go in, I think, until he was older. Like, didn't he graduate from high school when he was older?
Yeah, when he was 20.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
makes sense because of the huge changes. It would have been really hard to enter grade 12 after grade
well,
11.
26 at the time.
Yeah,
With-
1950.
Yeah. And I think he told me that going to university was a bit overwhelming.
Sure.
You told me when you went to university, it was kind of confusing because you lived in Cumberland, Victoria, Dauphin, and then you had to go to Winnipeg at university, right? You remember you talked to me about that? About going to university, that it was kind of hard?
I forget.
Okay, because it was,
I don't know.
yeah.
No.
So then when you were in Manitoba, you met the lady who would become your wife. Can you please tell me about what it was like to meet Yvonne for the first time?
So tell her the story of how you met Mom.
Huh?
Tell her the story of how you met Mom.
Oh, because when I was going to university, her brother was going to university.
Yeah, and
And so I went on one of those weekends.
yeah,
He invited me to go to what's that place now? Elm Creek.
Elm Creek, yeah.
Yep. To visit their family, and
Yeah.
that's how I met Yvonne.
So, and how old was Mom?
How old?
Yeah, 16. She was at home, right? 16. Yeah, she was 16, and you went for dinner at their place, right?
Huh?
You went for dinner because Uncle Jim invited you.
Yeah. Uncle Jim invited me. That's right. Yeah.
So then you met Yvonne and she was younger. And when did you first ask her out?
When did you first go out with Mom? Like, when did you first go on a date?
Yeah, that's Mom.
Sorry, Gayleen, can we pause here because we're
Yeah, we'll
recording?
just pause for a minute. Just a minute. I'm gonna hang her up.
Or just leave it off. Just take it off the screen.
Okay, okay. What, so you met Mom, right, in Elm Creek. When did you first go on a date together? Was it in Elm Creek that you went to have a coffee, or what did you do? Oh, no dates.
Huh?
There was no dates. Oh, no dates. So,
I don't know.
oh, so no dates. So I guess you just saw her in you kept going to Elm Creek?
Yeah.
Did you go to Elm Creek lots?
Well, also they want me, 1 month they meet a Chinese fella.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Huh?
so her mom wanted her to meet a Chinese person, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Linda, my uncle Jim, being an electrical engineer, and this is because he's Chinese Canadian too, he was born in Elm Creek, just so you know, and he was the only boy of this family, so he was pretty revered, right? Because he was
Right.
the son, and there was 4 sisters, and he ended up, just so you know, he ended up going through engineering, and he ended up doing his PhD down in Illinois. And
Right.
he came back to Canada, and his eventual career, because they became, he married in Ottawa, and he eventually became the director of National Research Council.
Oh,
Yeah, which was unusual in those days,
definitely.
right? To even go to university, because my mom's family was quite poor.
You definitely had to have some influence to get university placement in Canada if you were Chinese. You had to know someone, you had to pull a string, particularly UBC, but also just my uncle Doc, who was the first Chinese Canadian lawyer, applied 3 times and he was rejected twice.
Oh,
And the only reason why they accepted him is because he was the Queen's Army Rifles. And so he said, you know, I'm not a Chinese, I'm a Canadian, and, you know, I'm a veteran. And so that's when they accepted him. So even though he was well connected with the Yip family and they had the resources, York University still refused him twice. It was very difficult for Chinese to gain university placement.
really? I didn't.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how my uncle got into university, or how my dad really got into university, because no connections.
And Linda told me that when Canadian Chinese cross the border, they need an immigration certificate to come back to Canada.
That's right.
Oh,
Yes.
Canadian.
really?
Exactly. So the Chinese Immigration Act in Canada and the Chinese Exclusion Act in the United States meant that any Chinese crossing the border for any reason, whether it was a weekend trip or university or work, which would be quite rare, both governments required certificates, and if you were in the US, in some cases you needed to put up a very expensive bond to ensure that you didn't disappear, and your family would have had to put up that bond. So to give you the idea of how much a bond could be, in the 1920s, my distant cousin Eileen had to put up $1,000 bond
Wow.
so that she could be an actress in the United States.
You know what she said?
Yeah, it's nothing.
So probably Uncle Jimmy, when he went to Illinois, he would have had to do that.
I don't know what year, like, that's why I'm wondering a year, because I don't know what year he graduated.
What year was, what decade was Uncle Jimmy going to?
It would be the same decade as, was he younger than Dad? Maybe a little bit younger. But he was at university at the same time, so
1940s, 1950.
yeah, late 40s, and then he went on to do his PhD. When did Uncle Jim do his PhD? When was he in Illinois? What year? Uncle Jim, what year did he go to Illinois? To Illinois to do his PhD. What year? Do you remember? In the 50s? Yeah. It was in the 50s. Yeah, in the 50s.
So Wayne, Wayne, can we talk about what it was like? Do you remember Cumberland? Do you remember growing up in Cumberland? you had 4 brothers and 2 sisters?
Dad, she's asking you about growing up in Cumberland. How many sisters and brothers did you have? Tell her how many brothers and how many sisters. Dad,
I got 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
Yeah.
And how many? Well, you had Park,
I have
Park,
Park
Bill.
and Bill.
And
And
you
this is the middle one is me.
Yeah, but you have Jack. Jack is your brother.
Jack is the younger one.
I know, but she's asking you how many brothers,
Huh?
how many brothers did you have? Park,
Park,
Bill,
Jack,
you, and you,
me.
right? And how many sisters?
I have Hazel and Amy.
2 sisters.
Yeah.
But
Huh?
but you had, how many, but then Hazel is your stepsister. Really.
How many?
Hazel has a different, what is it, a different mother, right?
What?
Hazel has a different mother than you, right?
Yeah. Hazel was a different mother.
Right,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
right, okay.
Same father.
Same father, but different mother.
Yeah.
How many wives did your dad have? 3, you told me.
I think 2 wives. Not at the same time.
You told me 3.
3, maybe.
Yeah, you told me 3.
Uh-huh.
3 wives.
One time they just sent a message back to message, sent me another wife, and that was it.
In Canada.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was it? Do you remember Cumberland? What was it like being in Cumberland at the store? And like, how big was the town? And how many Chinese people were there when you were little?
What did she say?
She's asking you to talk to her about Cumberland. Can you tell her something about Cumberland, growing up in Cumberland?
Yeah.
How many people were there? Talk to her about what the community was like.
How many stores?
How many stores? Can you tell Linda a little bit about Cumberland?
We live in Cumberland, Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, basically, most of the Chinese work in the mines there because working in the mines there were very unsafe, and a lot of fun. They do not like to work in the mine, so therefore, that's how Chinese got jobs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the job. But after a while, when it was safe to work in the mine for anybody, the Chinese they were not hiring any more Chinese. The reason to hire Chinese because nobody wants to work in the mine because it's dangerous and low pay and so on like that, you know. But working in the mine in those days was very dangerous.
What about your family, though?
Huh?
What about your family?
My dad worked in the mine too, but he was lucky. He was working above the mine, above.
Not down below.
Yeah, that's right. They say, I always asked him, how come you were, he said, go to Hin Min. I worked under the sky.
Oh, how come he was so lucky?
Just a luck of the draw, that's all.
Oh,
That's how he survived.
okay.
Because anytime there's a fire, there's a problem in the mine, many people die. That's why the average people don't want to work in the mine. Only Chinese work in the mine because they need jobs. That's the thing.
So besides the store, did your dad also have a log? Besides the store, did your dad also have a logging mill, a lumber mill?
Actually, he was very enterprising. He bought some property out at Bowser.
Bowser, yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
So we're also doing some logging operation there.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
You know where Bowser is?
Yeah. Up near Courtney, isn't it?
Huh?
Is it near Courtney or Comox or somewhere?
No,
Oh,
south.
south. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
so why did your dad stop the logging operation?
Huh?
Why did your dad stop the logging operation? And why didn't he do it anymore?
I forgot why there was a reason
You told
why
me he went broke or something. I don't know. You told me he went broke
he went broke.
because it was poor timing. You told me it was poor
Oh,
timing,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And they were cutting. We had people work in the forest. They were cutting things, timbers. I can remember that the wrong height, wrong length,
Oh,
Oh,
and that was the problem
oh.
because they were all Chinese workers. You know?
They
Yeah.
cut them too soon.
Yeah,
Oh, so he went broke.
yeah,
Oh,
and that was the reason why.
okay.
Actually, it's true in a lumber yard. When you cut timber, the timber beams have to be a certain width and length. And it sounds like your grandfather's operation might have been in how can I say this? Less than ideal forestry. So his supply of lumber wouldn't have been,
Right.
the best lumber. And so he would have been cutting much younger trees because that would be the access that he would have had. But there was a lot of discrimination against Chinese business in the period of time we're talking about. So I can imagine that they would have used any excuse to fail to purchase complete the contract for lumber purchase, or to say that there was something wrong with it, simply to get in his way.
She's just saying that maybe your dad didn't really understand about the force, being like cutting the trees too soon, but they didn't have the knowledge, right?
That's true.
Right, so he just cut the trees and they didn't know what he was really doing. And also, she said there was a lot of discrimination against Chinese, right?
Oh, very much.
So did you tell her about Cumberland? What kind of discrimination did you feel in Cumberland? Do you remember? Or you told me that there were signs up in Cumberland.
Huh?
They had signs that said no Chinese. You told me in certain places there was no Chinese allowed. Is that true? I don't know.
That's true.
Where were the signs? In the stores, in the school, in the church, or where? You don't
I
remember.
forget now.
Okay.
Yeah.
so who was your teacher at
Yeah.
Cumberland? Like
Sure.
your
Remember
best teacher in Cumberland?
that lady?
Well, they were good teachers.
That lady. Who was that lady?
They were all English teachers.
Yes, but who
Yeah.
was that tall lady you showed
Yeah,
us?
that's right.
What was the name of that tall lady, that English lady that was
Huh?
a good teacher that liked you guys?
The name?
Yeah, do you remember her name? Mrs. Finch? Finch.
Finch was a teacher from come to Chinatown to teach us.
Oh,
Mrs. Finch.
yeah, right.
That's right.
She come down to the Chinatown to teach you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What did Mrs. Finch teach?
What did she teach?
Huh?
Yeah. What did she teach? What did she teach you?
Oh.
Yeah, what did she teach you? Did she teach you how to mow the lawn, or what did she teach you, Dad?
Yeah.
English? Arithmetic? That kind of stuff? She's a school teacher.
Yeah, that's right. She's a school teacher. Mrs. Finch.
Where did she come from? You said she came down. Down from where?
They came from uptown.
Oh,
Yeah.
uptown Cumberland
Yeah, that's right.
to
Yeah.
Chinatown.
Not Chinatown.
Oh,
Not Chinatown.
where?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, let's switch gears here. Do you want to pick a photo and then show it to the camera, and then let's talk about that?
Okay, we can talk about this one.
show the photo.
Okay, so
Talk to her. Yeah, tell her about that picture, Dad. Tell her who's in the picture and stuff.
This is my mother. When she first came over, well, right after the World War. Is that what I told you, Mom?
Yeah.
That's right. This is my father. Yeah.
And where is the picture taken? Did they go to the studio? Where's the studio?
What?
Where was the picture taken? Where did they take the picture? Was it at home or was it at a photo?
That was taken in Cumberland.
studio? Oh, in a photo studio
Uh,
or in your house? I don't know.
no,
No. Is it professional?
huh?
A professional picture?
Yeah, supposed to be professional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's in a photo studio.
And so your mom came over in 1918. Did she pay a head tax?
yeah.
Did she pay it, Dad? When your mom came over, did they have to pay a head tax? Remember the head tax?
Head tag.
Did your dad have to pay to have her come over?
I try to think.
Because how old were you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
Well,
dad,
she would have come over 6 years before Wayne would have been born.
oh, right.
Right.
18. Because your dad was quite old, I think.
huh?
Your dad was quite old, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We have a store.
He had a store.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So, Wayne, did your father ever talk about paying the head tax? Because he came over in 1893 when the head tax would have been $50. $50 is a lot of money for someone to pay in 1893. Did he ever say how he got the money, or was it borrowed from family, or did he have to pay it back? Did he ever mention that?
Did your dad ever talk to you about having to pay the head tax to come from China to Canada?
We never talk about it.
He never talked about it.
No, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
In those days, they just have to accept everything. Whatever they say to them, that's it.
So he never talked to you about it?
No,
Didn't say, well, I had to pay money to come
That's
over
right,
here?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you don't know anything about that?
Yeah.
About him having to pay money?
yeah,
He never talked to you about, because
No.
you're, okay. All right. Yeah,
Because that is a hefty sum of money. Now, $50 in 1893.
yeah, like your dad would have, how did your dad come to Canada? Did he come by himself? Do you know how your dad came to Canada? You don't know how he came to Canada? No. No, he never talked about that.
no.
You said you just have to accept it. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Did your dad say that too?
Dad? Did your dad just say to you, we don't talk about it, you just accept it? Did he tell you that? Or is that what you're saying?
No, that's the way things are. You just accept things. That's it.
That's it. You
There's
know,
no alternative.
but he never talked to you. Your dad never talked to you about how he came to Canada. He never talked about how he came and whether he had to pay money, borrow money to come. Did he ever talk to
He
you?
worked in Hong Kong
Oh,
as a coolie.
oh, I didn't know that. So he worked in Hong Kong as a coolie.
Yeah,
So he came from Hong Kong.
yeah, that's right.
So did he tell you how he got from Hong Kong over to Cumberland, or how come he decided? Did he ever tell you the story?
Was it because the reason they come to Cumberland at that time, there were the big thing is the jobs. They would get jobs in Cumberland
Oh,
because nobody wanted to